Hi everyone, we're going to look at how we determine if a relationship that we're given is a function or not. What we're going to look for every time is each x, or each input, has only one y. So each input only goes to one output. A function has to know where to take an input and send it to. If it has different outputs, then sometimes that input goes different places, and that can't be a function. So looking at the first example here, we've got negative 10, 10, negative 8, 8, 0, 5, and negative 1 as our inputs. None of those repeat. They're all different numbers for inputs, so their outputs are all going to one location. So each x only goes to one y, so this has to be a function. In the second table, we're going to look again to see any repeating inputs. We've got a 7 and a 7. That same input of 7 is going to two different places. 7 goes to 10 and 7 goes to 5. That's a problem. So this is not a function since that input of 7 has two outputs, two y values. So we can't do that because of x equals 7 having multiple outputs or y values. Same thing here for the coordinates. In the next example, we're going to look to see, does an x value repeat? If so, does it go to different y values? So we've got 8, negative 7, 6, negative 2, negative 7, and 2. And if you heard correctly there, we got two of the same x value, negative 7, going to different y values. So again, not a function because the input of negative 7 goes to negative 1 and it goes to 8. It can't do that and be a function. You only need one example of that happening for the whole thing to not be a function. For the next one here, we're going to again look to see any of these inputs repeating. Negative 1, negative 10, 9, 5, 6, negative 5, negative 9. They're all different. So this is a function because each x has only one y. For our graphs down here, the way we tell if a graph is a function is by what we call the vertical line test. It's the same idea as the other representations. You want to see, does one input go to multiple outputs? So if we draw a vertical line anywhere on the function and it crosses, or on the relationship, and it crosses more than once, like this one does, then it's not a function. Because if you look here, for this x value, which is why we use a vertical line because it isolates the x values. Here I've got multiple x values where this happens. If I use this x value right here, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the x value of 4 has two different outputs. 4 goes to 2 and 4 goes to negative 2. That's not possible to be a function. Because, so not a function, we can just say since x equals 4 has two outputs. And we only need one example of it not working. You don't need more than that. For the next graph here, you can kind of see if I draw a vertical line, there's no place I can draw this line where it's going to cross more than once. So as I kind of just go over here, it's never going to cross this graph more than once, which means that it passes the vertical line test because each x, each input, has only one y. The previous one failed the vertical line test, meaning that the vertical line crossed more than once, so it wasn't a function. And that's how you tell how a graph is a function, how a set of coordinate pairs is a function, and how a table is or is not a function. We're looking to see, does each x have only one y? If it does, then it's a function.